I am currently working on a little segment that I'm going to be start talking with a case that happened back in the 1950s. It's called Radovich versus the NFL. And based on that case, that was a case that ultimately said that the NFL was not considered to be exempt to the antitrust laws that have been put in place. And that decision rolled into a lot of the things that started happening through the NFL. It's kind of how we started getting the players' unions. It's how we started getting different contracts that rolled into what free agency happened. And so I'm going to be doing a multiple part series, kind of going through some of this case law and how those things affected it. So starting next week, again, talking about Radovich versus the NFL, which is kind of interesting because he claimed there was collusion amongst all the NFL owners back in the 1950s, and he was trying to break that monopoly that they had. And there was a few other things. So it'll be an interesting place to start and stick with me. And the reason I'm telling you guys about this now is if there's something you have a question about that belongs with like collective bargaining, the players association, the free agency, the strikes that happened, the NFL strikes we had in the 90s and in the mid and in the 80s, send those questions to me because I'll work it into the stuff I'm going to be talking about in the next coming weeks. So stick with me in the corner office and I'll look into that. That was something I was thinking about talking about anyways. Sean, was why were they prevalent then and why don't we have them now? And I do believe that starts back with Radovich back in the 1950s. So, which was a Supreme Court decision. So, I actually studied it in law school, not for the NFL, but for other reasons that I won't get into because it's not very interesting to non lawyers. So, but again, come back to the corner office next week and we'll start having some NFL legal history classes and TED Talks. Okay.